I can be longer than 5 minutes. Awesome. Are you going to stop me? Hello to everyone. I'm going to start with a story that maybe some of you have heard it already, because I remember some faces from the crowds from previous events. But what happened not so long ago is that I went to New York to a conference called Token Summit. And we were listening there to people from different parts of the world. And that was the time when ICOs were on the rise and when Switzerland became a kind of a blockchain home. There was a crypto valley term, a trademark invented, and it was already well recognized at that point. And there was another guy there who is also a lawyer, and you know, we can smell each other, so we found each other quite quickly. I asked him, how did you manage to develop such an ecosystem in such a short period of time? And he told me, you know, Switzerland is small. You know, we know each other. We just go to each other. We talk to the regulators. We found our way how to solve it. And when I was listening to this, I thought, we stupid Slovenians, it's only 2 million of us, and we can't sit together and find a way how to make a blockchain ecosystem work. So I came back home and I was explaining this same story to a friend of mine, Mr. Batagel. I have to say that he was the one who had the vision back there to say, we can do the same thing. And we started doing it. Starting calling people, started sending emails. And this is not just the two of us. It quickly became a group of people really supporting the idea. And we found people like Mr. Koprivnikar, Vice President of the government, Mr. Slapnik, head of, or member, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what the title is, of the cabinet of the Prime Minister, Ms. Dokuzo, and many other people who, in the beginning, just wanted to listen what we had to say. And they listened, and not only they listened, they read, they looked into it. They started thinking about it. Then we talked to the regulators, who at first were really reserved. Anyone we talked to, they were like, oh, you money launderers. And after we talked to them for the second and third time, they started asking questions. How about this? I read this article. I heard this. And where are we now? We have a government, and we have regulators who are extremely knowledgeable about this space. It's not, I've always said, it's not a friendly regulator who you wish to have. It's a knowledgeable one, because friendliness, in that sense, is a strange thing. Knowledge, expertise, know-how, that's something that always works. And this is how it started. When we started advising blockchain companies, I always said, I've never, ever in my life said so many times, I don't know, while advising clients, as I started to say that when we started working in the blockchain space. And I'm really proud to say that today, not just me, but also other lawyers in this country, are able to give some answers with a rather high degree of certainty. And this was the first step, how to make Slovenia inside the EU something interesting. We're not there yet. This is not the goal yet, but we made really important steps toward it. And the next great thing that's happening is what we have here today. Because this is not anymore a Slovenian story, it's becoming an EU story. And this is important for a number of reasons. Well, because Slovenia is, in sense of its market size, still ridiculously small and, to be honest, unimportant. That doesn't mean that not great ideas cannot come from here. After all, some of the biggest names of blockchain industry in the world come from here. And EU, on the other side, it's a 500 million citizen market. And it's one of the global players. And I strongly believe that blockchain can be something that's gonna put the EU on steroids. We all know that tech and fintech companies mostly come from other parts of the world, not so much from the EU. We are all aware of the fact that EU venture capital system is not as developed as the US one. And we all know that EU has done many things trying to fix that. But once you're late in processes like this that happen globally, it's very difficult to catch up. This is the opportunity for the EU to jump on the train of blockchain and to overtake other very well-established VC systems, such as the one in the US, which we have to say works perfectly. Or maybe better said, it used to work perfectly. Do you know that up to date this year, VC funding in Silicon Valley is down around 20% comparison to last year? There is a number of reasons why this is happening. One of them is if you want to get a table, a working table in a co-shared space in Silicon Valley, it costs $500 per month. One table, one chair. And what do young entrepreneurs do when they hear that? They say, well, thank you for the money, but now I'm going somewhere else where I can do more with that money. And this also moved that a number of EU citizens, EU entrepreneurs moved back from the US to EU. There is an opportunity here and we need to take it. And if we want to take it as Europe, as the EU, I need to come back to regulation since I'm a lawyer and this is what I can mostly speak about. The worst thing that could happen to us is that each country in the EU would have its own set of rules. And that would kill the innovative potential that is in the blockchain today. What does that mean? Whatever we do, we need to look into each EU country how we can do it. How we can deploy a smart contract, how we can do token crowd sale, how we can do practically anything on the blockchain. As it was mentioned earlier today, it is a product or a service solution that has global reach. And it is not in our powers to fix the whole world, but it's totally in our power to say what the rules are going to be in the EU. And being able to deploy solutions and develop them to grow projects, being free of concerns and cares whether this is compliant in the whole EU or not, that's something that has economic value. That's something that generates growth and something that generates jobs. And that's also something that brings young Europeans back to the EU or something that keeps them here. And before Nina chases me off this stage, what does that mean? We are strong supporters of the fact that regulation of events or moves or products on blockchain follows the principle of technological neutrality. We are strong supporters of the fact that we need to adjust regulation. So certain things that can be done out of blockchain will be able to be executed on blockchain. We are supporters of the idea of enabling more and more assets to be tokenized because we believe that that's the future of the way tokens, assets are going to be transferred, registered, etc., etc. And we don't like EU directives. We support EU regulation. I'll be more than happy to take this conversation further, but now I think I need to rush down. Thanks for following this, and anyone who wants to discuss this into more details later on, I'm going to stick around for as long as I can. Thanks.